very happy to be here. Very grateful to be have the opportunity to share. This is something I'm starting to do. It's been a request for quite some time for to go a little deeper here within the messages that I share within social media and to talk a little bit about the things that I don't share there because those messages I'm pretty much always in nature. I live in Hawaii and I spend a lot of time in nature and that's when things come in. I don't plan it out. I'm not let me just go create some content type of thing. It just happens. And it's an aligning, it's an attuning where it comes and whatever comes out, it's just what needs to come through. And then I sit there for a moment afterwards and I have to expand deeper or download deeper. What is this? What is this information, this energy that's coming through? And so this will give an opportunity to go a little deeper, expand more on what is it that's really happening. I'm sure one or two or three messages you've have received connected with you. And it's not so much that it's myself, but it's that I am this channel for these messages to come through. I'm experiencing things as well. I'm experiencing all the energies that I'm aware of, that I'm consciously aware of, and I have to navigate them as well. And but I've been doing this for 10 years, a little bit over 10 years since my awakening in 2016, 2017. A long journey of healing, of trauma wounds, from childhood, of exploration of myself, of looking into my insecurities, looking into my fears, and really trying to understand who I am and detaching from who I've been taught to be or who I thought I was to in order to explore this new version that's ever evolving within myself. And as that journey started and I went deep in different studies around the Amazon rainforest with plant medicine, without plant medicine, Tibetan culture, Hindu culture as well, and just other modalities and practices, Reiki, magnified healing, all of these things, working with breath, working with music, it all came down to this same thing, which is a journey within. It's the journey from outside of ourselves. And so we can only perceive as much as we perceive within ourselves. And so I started to understand that really and if I want to understand life, I need to learn to understand how to understand life within myself. That is to say, like, bring awareness of when I look at a tree, to release the idea that that's just a tree. I have to erase what I've been taught in order to learn something new. Learn from the tree, learn from nature, the pure source of wisdom, not from what man has taught me. And that has really began the journey of within myself as well. It's like, who am I outside of what my parents taught me who I am, outside of what society taught me who I am? Who am I supposed to be outside of the man that I'm supposed to be according to society? Who is this being? Who is this soul? Who is this person? And it's a journey that I'm still ongoing, but it's a journey that it's as deep as I continue to go within myself, it allows me to see and understand the reflection in other human beings in life. And I'm able to also connect as the ancestors, as many old ancient civilizations, as we all have this capacity to our natural harmonious state of our earth, of our universe, that it's outside of man creation. It just lives in harmony. It's a frequency that's far superior than anything that we can create, and it is available. But we have to train ourselves. We have to learn and remember how to divert our focus from all the chaos, all the noise, onto the real wisdom, onto the real messages. That it starts here on this planet, on Earth. There's a lot of energy speaking, fifth dimension, and we're going into the 4D and 5D and all of these things, which it's true. But how can we speak and how can we expect people to understand the fourth and the fifth dimension if we don't even really understand what it means to be here on this planet? And so for me, it's the importance of coming back to remembering what it means to be a human being first. before trying to identify what it means to be a man or a woman or what it means to be a healer or this or that. Let's go back to the basics. What does it mean to be on this vessel? What does it mean to be on this earth, on this planet? What is your connection? And beyond of the psyche, what is it that we can call the soul, which is yourself, is? So this is just to share with you all the journey of how it's been, right? A little bit for myself and how it continues to be and how I tune in. I tune in by continuing to allow myself to be guided on the natural way of learning myself in life. And so this is why I encourage people to go to nature. I encourage people to attune themselves to their truth. I encourage all of us to always pay attention to what's been already coming to you and to decide, right? To make a decision, to decide to change, to be brave, to have courage, to step into what you're being asked to do within you. And so, of course, it's challenging. It's challenging because we have so much in this world that feels like it's against us. Or it's challenging because sometimes what's being asked within ourselves is uncomfortable, or it's challenging us to go into a, a different version of ourselves that perhaps we don't even know what that looks like, or it feels intimidating or scary because perhaps it asks us to be brave or we don't know all the details. But this is trust. And if we are willing to trust complete strangers to get on a plane and fly 30,000 feet above the air and just hope that everybody did all the maintenance checks and that the pilot is good and everything is good, then how come we cannot trust ourselves? That's what I want to invite us all to think about, because it starts there. Just like how I just said, it doesn't make sense for us to trust machines, to trust all these things, but we do it anyway. What does make sense is for us to trust ourselves, to learn that. But of course, we were never taught how to do that. We have been taught to trust outside of ourselves. We have been taught that when we go to school, we learn things that we don't want to learn, and then we are tested, right? And when we don't get the answers right, we are punished. So that is to say that we are taught that if we don't know, it's bad. So we live with that fear. We live with that anxiety of like, okay, well, I don't know. I want to do this, but how am I going to work all of this out? So I want to pause there for a moment because this is the energy that's here. The energy of the fire horse, all of these things that we're talking about, the eclipse that took over not long ago, the different alignments, the flare, the solar flares that have been coming up, also the shifts within our Earth, climate change, that it's not just the climate change that's been happening, but the amount of flooding, earthquake, and movement from underneath our Earth. All of these things, they're all connected. All of it. So we sometimes feel like, oh man, like why does it feel so intense right now? Or why does it feel like a roller coaster? Zoom out as well and realize that that's the 4D, the 5D that we talk about. Like it is a higher frequency. Higher frequency, just envision it as the vibration of something vibrating stronger. It therefore vibrates faster, therefore it's a higher frequency, so to say, right? In a way, to put it into like a visionary. And so the idea of time and space, it's such an illusion, really, truly. But when we are tapping into higher frequency energies, it's just vibrating at a much faster rate, or so to say, like stronger, faster, and that brings an intensity to it. With anything that's not in that calibration. So, for example, if you have a tuning fork that's 528 hertz and you have one that's 422, by hitting the 528 and the 422 is nearby, the vibration of this tuning fork will vibrate this one, the lower one, because it's stronger. So its strength, its vibration, it's so strong, it's higher than the 422. Therefore, it impacts it and it makes it vibrate. And so if we are vibrating at a lower frequency energetically, then these strong energies are coming. We're feeling that, and that tension, that anxiety, those feelings, is because we're being asked to elevate. And this is simple as the way we think about things, our belief systems, the way we eat, what we engage with from an energetic perspective. Because everything is energy. So you don't have to be a monk, right? It's just a matter of learning what that word balance means to you, into your life, into your being. Like, what if your body's reacting, if your psyche, if your emotional state is asking for you to learn how to ground or reset your nervous system or rest or release certain relationships or connections or leave jobs or things like this, right? It's literally we can say it's your soul asking you to be like, hey, it's time to let go of this. It's time to elevate. It's time to change the engagement of frequency. It's like listening to the AM frequency and then the same song you've been listening to it sounds better in the FM. It's the same song, but it sounds different because it's a higher frequency, right? So you have to switch to the FM, and that the same song, it's the you. Let's just say like we are the song, but we get to experience ourselves more clear, different from at a higher frequency. And so we have to make that change, right? From the AM to the FM into tapping into higher frequencies. Hopefully, I'm making sense to everybody. I'm not losing anybody. I'm trying to translate everything to the simplest of terms. So, within all of this, I think what I want to go on from here is the biggest thing is to, in my opinion, right, is to be the observer. Learn how to observe yourself. If you went all your life with never seeing a reflection of yourself in the mirror, right? Um, every day, if all your life you never saw your reflection in the mirror, you would never know what you looked like. And then if one day you saw yourself, imagine like today you saw yourself for the first time in all your life, it would be shocking, right? And you would just be like, wow, that's how I look. And this is the idea of an awakening. This is the idea of awareness, in my opinion. It's when we can start to learn how to observe our thoughts, learn how to observe the way we are engaging with our own inner dialogue. So many of us are not really nice to each other, to one another, like inside of ourselves, to ourselves. We are not our best friends, our own best friend, but we treat others far nicer. And so it starts like building that taking time to be like, no, I want to get to know Alejandro. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? And let me go sit and just be with him in all the ways that he is, without judgment, but just observe, because all of us really just want to be acknowledged. But it starts with ourselves. And that's the energy that's here, very present as well. It's the energy of truth. And the more we do this work, the more we tap into, focus ourselves into, it expands. It's like another ting, another tuning fork. And then that becomes two, three, four, and then that frequency becomes stronger. And that's where we start to feel it all. And like, whoa, I don't know what's going on. I'm just feeling all these things. And you have a choice. You can work with that energy or you can resist it. You can resist it. And by resisting it, it intensifies because others that choose to work with it, it expands. And that's consciousness. So your thoughts, what you do matters, even if you're in some small town in Kentucky. I don't know, right? And you think, oh, I'm just a good old farmer out here and I have nothing that I'm doing matters. It's not true. You are a being on this universe and it matters. So then that goes with my next point, which is value. We value cars, we value materialistic things, but how many of us value ourselves? Maybe we've never received that from somebody else, so we don't know how to give that to ourselves. But it starts by taking time to just be with you, to listen like you would to a friend. Listen to your thoughts, listen to your emotions, and be like, hey, it's okay. I'm doing pretty good. And it's okay. Like maybe I've judged myself a little bit, but it's okay. I value for the good qualities of myself. I value myself for being here. And so this starts to open the heart. And the heart is such a beautiful mm, own frequency field within the body. The heart chakra, the color green, right? The expression of the color green. And the heart chakra is, we look around, nature is green. Spring, like every flower has a leaf, which is green. And that's love, right? The heart frequency of the earth is just this green, beautiful color expression. And the more we connect with that within ourselves, then we start to learn about compassion. And that helps us tune into those higher frequencies. That it's not just all about making choices, changing our lives. It's about coming in alignment with higher frequencies that come from the heart. We live in a world where we navigate the majority of the time with our mind, and that's limited. Psychoanalyzing things, right? It's exhausting, overstimulation, and we are guarded. People walk around guarded with their heart because of pain. I know because I experienced a lot of pain in my life, a lot. But there was that pain that it opened the deepest chambers and continues to open the deepest chambers of my heart in learning what unconditional love is, or the idea of unconditional love. And those are the higher frequencies that we are being asked to step into in order to really make a difference on this earth. And we got to release the mind that says, oh, I'm just one person, how much of a difference I can make. Well, it's like that one drop on a full cup, that one drop that drops, that overfills the cup. And perhaps that overfilling provides water for someone to drink or whatever it is in this analogy that's coming through for me right now, but it matters. It's like that ripple effect, that one drop that drops on a lake, on a still lake, and it just spreads, right? So it matters. And so this is why it's simple. And a lot of the things that I teach, in whether it's one-on-one with the people I work with or retreats that I do or co-felicitate with amazing people. It's just the simplicity of this, of understanding before going into all these advanced things, the basics, and then learning how to navigate with ourselves. So then we can learn how to navigate with the frequencies that are coming in, but we have to make space for it. We have to. And so go to nature. I always say it. If you can, go to nature, even if it's cold, like just bundle up and we're coming into springtime and go out there and just breathe and connect and look at yourself. And then look at the stars at night. Connect with the elements. Realize that that's what connects us all. The water we drink, all the animals drink, all the insects, all the trees, the breath we take. It's we share that breath with all the animals and all the trees and flowers and everything. And we are connected by the elements. That's the basics. Before going into quantum travel and all of these wonderful things that exist, yes, it starts with the basics. To connect with water, connect with your breath. So I'm going to take a pause here and take any questions or anything anybody might have. If you want to ask, you can either unmute yourself or you can ask on the chat, whatever feels good for you. That was a lot, so I just want to take a pause. Make sure everyone's good. And if no one has any questions, that's fine too. We can keep going.
One.
Hi, Adriana, how you doing?
Right. So like, how did you overcome like fear? Like, because I live alone and I feel like I'm starting to get like, because you can like, see stuff and
Mm.
I don't know how to explain it. So basically, like, I'm already starting to see like visions and stuff and really like prophetic dreams and stuff. But then I get like scared. Um, like around my altar, I get like scared. I don't know.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your vulnerability. Excellent question. I just want to say before I answer that question that just please use your discernment with everything I share. It's just my thoughts, my opinion, just keep that in mind. I don't feel that I have overcome fear. I feel that I've learned and I'm learning always constantly how to work with fear. Because to me, fear is a teacher. So in your case, that fear that's coming up because you're tapping into deeper experiences. And I see that in your realm. I'm seeing and I'm sensing that you're opening you're opening connections to other realms, and it's different and it's intense, right? With things that not only are you seeing, but you're feeling and experiencing. And so when we start to im tap into our subconscious into a subconscious mind and be able to channelize or travel or bring into awareness to our conscious mind of other dimensions, other realms, other beings, the idea of fear comes into the ego because it wants to protect you. That's all the ego is. It wants to make sure you are safe. And so because it doesn't understand it, it becomes fear. The idea of fear comes in just to protect. And so another way you can teach yourself is to know that you are safe within yourself, that nothing can harm you unless you give it permission to harm you. And so a good practice for myself when I go into what one might call the spiritual realms or dealing with other entities or beings is I envision myself that I believe in this envisioning. And I work with sacred geometry of a golden bubble around myself. Okay. And this golden bubble it's impenetrable. It cannot be, it's a boundary. It's an energetic boundary that is, it's put by you. Okay. And nothing and nobody has authority over you to cross that boundary. Okay. That's very important that you remember that. But beyond remembering is you have to believe that, which goes back to trust. You have to trust yourself as you're navigating now deeper um, places of consciousness, right, that you're tapping into. You really need to trust in yourself. And so you can start by doing that and then explore what is this fear that's coming up? What is this fear that's here present? Is it because it's the unknown? Is it because I don't understand it? Is it because it feels intense? Is it because my body's reacting a certain way? And at that point, you can take a deep breath, close your eyes, and state to yourself, like, I don't give permission to anything or anyone type of energy that's low vibrational energy to interfere or to come into my realm without my permission. So these statements, it's the authority that we all have. Just as we have the authority to tell somebody no, that is in every realm with any being across all dimensions and realities. That's just, it's the law of energy. So this fear that you're feeling, it's an invitation for you to explore what's on the other side of that fear. Does that make sense? So another way that you work with this as well, because I remember some intense experiences with some beings and things like this in the spiritual realm. I I one time I noticed that when I was feeling uncomfortable, I was like, "Ooh, man! Like there's these beings in my room. Like they're very creepy looking with my eyes open. They're creepy looking with my eyes closed. That they're," and I saw how a little fear they got stronger, and I understood later that I was engaging with that lower vibrational energy because it literally lowers your vibration, fear, and therefore you are engaging with those energies. And so to how I transmuted that, I took a deep breath and I just envisioned a light coming from the center of my chest. And I said to myself, I am the light in which I came from. And that affirmation, and I just focused on just the light coming in from my chest and just breathing and just remembering that I can choose to be the light in which I came from. That's just energy, right? And that like helped me navigate that experience in which I was able to observe it, literally observe them as a light being within myself, and then they faded away. I didn't have to battle with them. I didn't have to go through all of this. I just had to radiate true love within myself, knowing that that's who I am. Does that make sense? Because that's fear is just, it's love, actually. It's just the polarity of love. It's fear, it's love experiencing itself on the other side of itself, if you will, so to say. And so the invitation of fear is just to come to terms that I'm okay. It's okay. I'm safe. And it has its purpose. It's not something we want to get rid of. It's something to learn to understand. Because sometimes we may feel fear. I'm like, oh, like this something feels off here. And it might be a little fear, like the guts, you might feel it on your chest. Listen to that, right? That's a boundary. Okay, like I'm feeling I'm not safe here. And I feel that. Does that make sense? So it's a navigation system, but it's also an invitation to go. It's not linear, is what I'm trying to say. There's layers to it, but it starts with your own trust, breathing, calming your body down, and then make a decision from a grounded space rather than from a state of flight or flight where you're just like, oh, it's okay, breathe. If you are able to, okay, let me just ground for a minute here. What's happening? What's your truth? Okay. Does that answer your question a little bit?
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hmm. Do you work with I'm not gonna impede or go too deep, but do you something about salt? I don't know, just something for you to tap into, feel into that will help you with this as well. Salt is a can help with boundaries when we are working. We're opening unconsciously portals of energies, and sometimes like in some traditions they put salt underneath like the front mat of the door, things like that, just to keep it's like a keeping away and certain energies to come in. Uh,
I forgot to do that when I moved here.
okay.
I used to do that.
Yeah, it's there's that came through pretty loud, like just salt. Yeah. Any other questions or anything like this?
I'm curious, when you're channeling, is it like a knowing for you or is it like a visualization? Like, how does that work for you?
Beautiful question. So it started like as this thing that it would happen, right? I was like, oh, I just would receive information and it felt like a knowing, okay? Like I just know this information, but as I was speaking it, I'm learning it in real time, but I know it because what's happening is my conscious self is learning it, but my subconscious, it's coming from, let's say, the soul, the idea of the soul. It's coming, that information is coming from there, which is it's known. And but at first, it's like, oh, how do I open my channel or how do I close it or all these things is like trying to control it, trying to comprehend it. But as time went on, I just let it go, and it just now it's just always open. But it's just there's an awareness, and it comes in different ways. There's the knowing, which in this moment my mind is completely blank. Like I'm focusing what's on my mind is just white. And maybe that sounds odd, but it's just I put my conscious self aside for a moment and I use my brain to my conscious self to connect with my subconscious. It's not a process. I'm just explaining like what's the feeling to then receive. So I don't have to think about things. It's just so and then I'll see visions or I'll it just comes through. Like in other times, there's like a bunch of information, like a bunch of pictures or a bunch of all this information that's there, and I just wait. Okay, like what do you want me to say, or what do I need to say out of all of this? And I'll just wait, and I'll just kind of like look to the side. It's very normal. I like to look to the side, and then it just comes out. And so when somebody asks me a question, like there's no thinking about it. It's just I'll just allow it, to come. But that's trust, right? Because at first I was like, I don't know about this. Yeah, But it's been it's been a journey and it's always deepening as well. Sometimes, like for example, I'll also share with you, like I get things about people and I had to learn, like some people don't want to know. You know? I always ask for permission, or some people, or it's then I started to learn, like, okay, just because I'm seeing all of this, it doesn't mean that I need to say that. And so there's just waiting for what to express and let that come from a higher source of guidance rather than from my mind. So,
Okay. Do you offer sessions?
yes. So I do a little bit of different things. I do one-on-one work. I don't really like the term coaching because doesn't resonate with me, but it's more of helping people, do this type of connection, of realization, where we unpack things. We create a space, a container where we engage with energy through verbiage, through communication, and walking through people to understand, to see themselves, right? I mean, that looks in various different ways, but I offer that. Then I offer like Reiki sessions. This is more like the basic things, or magnified healing, or soul connections. I don't do like readings. That's not my something. I do it, but I don't do it as a service, or anything like this. And then the retreats, which is the most profound work, right? Which my dear brother David actually, where I'm co-facilitating a retreat with him and his lovely partner. And so him and his fiance, they're doing one in Colorado. So that's where we go deep, with these types of work. So those are the kind of different ways to, so to say, to work with myself. Yeah. I do also my own energy work that's channeled, and I don't have a name for that, but I do it in the retreats. I work with symbols and colors, uh, different frequencies. Like all energy is like sometimes I experience it in colors. And so when people are speaking, a color will come to me. Like I just see it and then I just wait. Like, oh, like when you were speaking, I saw pink, right? So then I just, rather than being like, oh, pink is rose quartz or whatever, I just wait. Oh, sometimes it's a little while. Sometimes it's like That's it. Okay, pink. But when I'm working with people within my own channel energetically, that color, I work with that color, and then I let that color guide me on the area and the different bodies beyond the physical body. We have multiple energetic bodies where that color is needed more, right? That color, the expression of energy that comes through in my mind through the color, the expression of pink, I focus on expanding that onto that person in whatever body it's needed. Does that make sense? So these are some ways that I work with, among many, as David has seen. But I don't talk about this on social media because I don't. It's not the point, you know. But it's yes, I do. I do a lot of different types of work. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, concerns about this navigation? We know we while everybody's thinking of a question or if there is one, I also want to share with you the transmission. The things that we talked about, everything has a purpose. And when I didn't show up here with like, oh, I'm going to talk about X, Y, and Z. I just show up, I open the channel, and what needs to comes through, right? And in this, for everyone that's here, that's what needed to come through. And you don't need to remember it because it goes into your subconscious, right? The conversation that we're having when we channel information, it resonates with us in a way that it's beyond what's being expressed. Okay. So there's a lot here within the group that's here. It's very powerful, if I may say, very deep souls that I have in front of myself. And there's a lot of connection. There's a highlight around speaking, like whatever that means to you. Like it's time to speak your truth. Stop hiding. There's this highlight around like being not afraid to, oh, but what are people going to think? Or and to see yourself. It's not ego because I know you know what I'm talking about. It's just you recognizing yourself and stepping up to what however that looks like that you know within yourself in onto, if that makes sense. So it starts with the breath. So just wanted to share that. Any questions? And if not, then I would love to hear, what are some of the videos or what is one video that really touched you? Or what's something that you feel like you're going through in your life that a big change, or maybe it's, finding yourself feeling lonely because you're awakening, and it's hard. It's hard to connect with people who can go deep. It's hard to connect with people that can understand like what we're going through. Or maybe you're having a hard time. And I just want to open that space also here because you're not alone. And so the whole point of this is yes, is to share, but also to I want to build a community where people can feel like they're not alone, because a lot of people do. They feel like we're just sometimes I have to remind myself, I am going through this alone physically, but it's a collective thing. It's far greater than just myself. I
Right? You hit the nail on the head because like that's one of the things I want to do is start speaking my truth online, but it's like I literally cannot. Like I don't know how to explain it.
remember that fear you talked about?
Yeah. The fear in like hiding.
Yeah, that fear, it's it's a big one for you to learn from. It's a teacher that's here that wants to teach you, right? And I understand. And to be fair, we all go through it. I go through it, and still to nowadays. So it's just about like taking a deep breath and then being like, okay, honor and recognize your fear, because the fear of being judged, the fear of what people are going to think, like all these exterior approval is an illusion. You can never, I'm sorry, but you're never going to be able to please everybody. That's not the point. But the things that you have to share, there are people who are waiting to hear that. Do you understand? Because it has value, but you have to see it. You have to believe in your value. And what people are going to say, they're going to say what they're going to say. It's oftentimes they're just hurting themselves, like they're in pain themselves, so they project or they're just not understanding, and that's okay. We meet those people with love, but with boundaries. So it's an attuning. So the more you work with fear, and just be brave for yourself. This is it, Adriana, right? You like this is your life. Honor yourself. Live fully. And I'm here to support you, and we're all here to support you for you to share your truth because it matters. We don't have to understand it. It's not the point. It's just to honor that that's your truth. So I just want to encourage you to I thank you for being brave to share that. And I just want to encourage you to be brave for yourself and just give it a chance. Give yourself a chance. Give yourself an opportunity to be free from this fear. And know that you might be surprised. You might be surprised of the outcome. So, any other questions or comments?
Bridget?
Hmm.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, I think I have David. Um, Alejandro, like I would, what just came online for me is realizing there's always a contrast, right? And so on one side of fear, it's being able to hold courage, in the same hand, right? And if it's joy and suffering in the same breath, it's learning to grow our capacity to receive this moment just as it is, as an offering, as with an open heart and gratitude, because it is an offering. It is giving us a gift of insight, of okay, so we have these blessings or these dreams that have come true in our lives, and they were a wish at one point, right? We can look around and we can see these dreams that have come true, and at one point they were a vision. And so you having this vision of sharing what you're channeling, what you're being called to do, this is a dream that you answer the call, and so you're learning to master this moment, right? The capacity of the paradoxes, the contrasts that are always going to be there. Um so yeah, this was just like, it's been in this contemplative place in my own life as I'm clearing these more denser energetic patterns. It's like, okay, it may be challenging, but this is an offering in this moment to elevate, to raise my frequency, my vibration. And um so that's just what I wanted to share. There's always going to be that contrast, right?
Beautifully said. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Bridget. Yeah, lovely, lovely share. And absolutely, it's the polarity, the contrast. It's so important, and it's not really. I feel, and to your point, it's there's so many ways to expand to look at this, right? That nothing is linear, but it starts with it is the everything has a purpose, and the contrast is we love the stars, but we can see the stars because of the darkness, right? Of the night and the moon and it starts with just simple things like this of the polarity of the yin and the yang and the positive and the negative and it's necessary in order for that in which we seek to exist because it's actually itself expressing itself through the polarity of it. And absolutely, I love what you're saying also around the dream, the idea of like the dream, the focus, the attuning into the realization of answering the call, right? Of really stepping into what we on whatever level, whether it's conscious or subconscious level, we are here to experience at the end of the day, right? And that it's like if you want to swim to an island, that's your favorite island, if that's your dream, but there's no boats, they don't exist, but you don't know how to swim, like you have to first learn how to swim. And that might not be pleasant, right? You might not enjoy that very much, but that's what's necessary in order to get there. And it's the process. Everything has process. Like you plant a seed, it goes through the darkness, the pressure, and it seeks the light as it comes through the light, through the dirt, and then it grows into a beautiful flower. So I love what you said, and it is a blessing. It is an opportunity to give thanks, to tap into that everything is happening for us and not to us, and we are choosing this every step of the way, and how we can expand our awareness of how we are navigating life, right? So I really love that. That was really beautiful, and how I felt your channel within that expression as well. And that's beautiful, right? When we open the space as well, outside of myself, outside of ourselves, we open our hearts. Something beautiful happens that I don't have words for it, but I can tell you that I'm always experiencing deeper layers of it. That's love. And it's nothing from Hollywood that ever could express. It's nothing that no book or anything could ever there's very little words for them because it's all a feeling. And it's, to me, true intelligence. But it comes in order to appreciate the light, in order to know the light that within, we have to understand the darkness, right? It's the polarity. So, yeah, I always say like when we walk in the dark, we don't see anything. And then, oh man, I just hit myself in the foot and you're upset and you can't see, you don't know what you hit, and you feel like you're a victim, right, of what you hit yourself with because somehow it's the item's fault that's there because you can't see it. And sometimes that's life, right? But it's like we look to turn on the light so that we can see. So that's what to your point, this is what I focus on is like, let me turn my internal light. When I was feeling that fear, Adriana, right, of like, ooh, those beings being there, let me turn that internal light so I can shine, so I can see more clearly, right? And that it starts to understand like, oh, the darkness is teaching me how to know that I am the darkness that is actually wanting to be experienced through the light so it can be seen of what's there within the darkness, right? But it's not good, it's not bad. There's no such thing. It's just is. It's positive, it's negative, it's higher, it's lower vibrations. It's just is. And we can tune into that experience as we choose, right? But it's not good, it's not bad. You know, the day is not good, it's not bad, it's whatever you make it. You know, so yeah, thank you. That was really beautiful, Bridget. Thank you for sharing that. David, I think you wanted to share something as well, or ask or something.
Bridget had her hand up, and I was just,
Ah, okay, okay, got it.
what I will say is, you were sharing something a little bit ago that we talked about many, many months ago that just resonated with me. That, anytime we don't step into our gifts, anytime we don't step into our power, anytime we don't step into our calling, just people are waiting. And it's just, when it's all said and done, it's about the impact, it's about the ripple. And I just wrote that down, like, there's always different doors to go through. And every single time we go through it or we procrastinate, the people that need that version of you, they're just waiting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well said, brother. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, absolutely. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Okay, 'cause we're on time and I want to be mindful of everybody. I hope this was a pleasant experience for you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for those of you who shared with your words and those who shared with your energy by being here, by being present, by being open, by being curious, and most importantly, for just giving yourself the opportunity to just tap into a perspective of curiosity within oneself. And I just want to say thank you from my heart for the opportunity to also experience all of you in this container. There was a bunch more people that signed up, but they didn't make it. That's okay. This was what it was meant to be, and it was perfect. So I'm very, very grateful. I'm going to be doing these every Sunday, with the exception of when I'm doing some of the retreats, which I am there's a couple of retreats that I'm going to be announcing on tomorrow on Monday that I'm doing. I'm doing a retreat in Bali for 7 nights, and it's going to be really, really beautiful, very profound. But it's limited spaces, only 15 spaces available. I want to keep it really quaint. I want to keep it very intimate, and not a bunch of people, so we can really honor the type of energies I want to work with. And then from that's going to be in July. And then from there, if that one doesn't interest you, then I'll have one towards the end of July in Australia. And then the beginning of August will be in Portugal. So that's the summer tour. Um, and then I'll have events and things here in the United States and potentially here in Hawaii once things get better here as well. But those are the big ones so far that I'm going to be announcing. So if you're interested, just keep your eyes open for that. And yeah, any last questions or anything, comments before we sign off? Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Many blessings to you all. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Please stay brave, stay blessed, be kind to yourselves, and remember, just take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay. All right. Until next time.